Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, Tim, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
I am fantastic.
All right.
Um, so the frequent Australian visitor returns again
Yes,
in 2025. How
yes.
excited are you,
Yeah,
man?
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, did a couple shows last year and they were so good and the band's so good and it just made me want to book some more. So, I mean, I've been on the road for the past year and a half with KK's Priest, so it's get a little time off. So what do? I book some solo shows in Australia.
Yeah, it's a bit of a holiday as well. Why not?
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Now you've got the fabulous McDonald brothers, um, and their merry band of men backing you. Uh,
Yes.
when did you first start using them? Was it just the last tour, or were you aware of them before?
No, Joel and I had, man, it's probably been 10 years ago. We might have done our first thing together, and we did that AC/DC orchestra thing we did one time, and then we did a jam at Frankie's there, and then uh I did a thing called Metal Gods, and it had Simon Wright and myself, and then Joel and a bunch of the guys. Uh, and we did that, and that's when I said to him, "Man, we should do some solo shows." When I'm here. And the last time I was there, we put it together probably a month and a half before I was going to be there, so it was
Yeah.
really fast, and it was and the venues were packed, and it was great. The band's just great, man. I mean, it's such a we made some changes to the set this time. Added added took a few things out and added a couple different songs. So added some KK's Priest to the set, and so it should be really good. But they're all great. I mean, Voya and Andrew. I mean, man, you talk about great musicians. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And as you said, you've been out on the road with KK's Priest, so it's great to have them being represented in your set because they are, as a band, now a big part of your life. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
how have you found working with Ken again after some time away?
Well, it was exactly the same. I mean, I got along with everybody in the band, and after I left, Ken stayed the closest to me. If I ever came around there, which is about three or four times probably, I'd come around there solo, and he would. And a lot of times it was 2 hours away from where he lived. He would always come out. He'd always come to the show, and it would always make the band really nervous. Um, he would show up and he'd always bring a couple cases of beer, knowing the band would probably want some. And so we stayed in contact. And but it's been just great. It's like you don't really miss a beat. You work together for all those years in Priest, and you have it down, so you just kind of continue on. I know it's been a while, but it was really easy.
And the feedback on the music worldwide has been outstanding. You've been playing like massive festivals, plus your own shows. Like that's got to be really rewarding when a new project, regardless of the members of it, but a new project is always difficult when you start. So that must be really rewarding.
It is, and what's great about this is how well the new songs go over, how the KK's Priest goes over. I mean, it's really just we open with Hellfire Thunderbolt, which is going to be in the set list on this one, and we go into One More Shot at Glory, and it's just been unbelievable. And I think that's the seeing those songs go over like they do. I think that's the cool part about it. It's been a great response. I mean, listen, we're a really good live band. It's a great show. People can see it. They could go online and I mean, look at the videos we released that, which was a fill-in show, the Bloodstock Festival, which was recorded and released, and it was, I had no sleep, and it was we played in Belgium the night before, and it was such a good show. And people were like, man, Ripper's miming it. He's not even really singing. And you're having a good show when people think you're actually not singing the stuff. It's fake. Um, but it's a good show. And that's what's great about doing these shows with these guys in Australia, because they bring the same energy. I mean, listen, Jordan behind the drum kit's like a Muppet. I got to tell you, to be honest, I knew Jordan from the past as well, which I think it was way back when we did the orchestra thing as well, because what happened was Simon was on drums then too, so we put a little set list together and played Frankie's Pizza, and I met Jordan then.
Yeah.
I didn't know he played drums, because we met, and that's how we would meet, and that kind. And then we met again when we did the Metal Gods thing. Jordan, we went to a restaurant and we ate and we hung out, and all of a sudden Jordan gets behind the kid we had one rehearsal. And I was dumbfounded, man. He was just, he was just, I mean, you talk about a talented brothers right there, right? I mean, the band itself, when I showed up last year, you're coming from KK's Priest, which is very professional, right? It's very, it's top-notch musicians, top-notch show. Everything about it is so pro and so, man, it's so great. So going to Australia to do that show last year, I went right into it, man. It was just it was so good, and they're so great, and they were so prepared. And I said I was just in Australia a month or so ago, and I went and met Joel, and we went to his town, went to the beach. My girlfriend and I went to the beach and went out and hung out with Joel and his family and had dinner. And I said, "Do you want to add some more songs?" He said to me, "You want to change the set list?" I said, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind adding a couple different ones and taking a few of the other ones out." And he goes, "Absolutely." He goes, "We want to do more songs. We want to do different songs. We want to add it." Usually people wouldn't say that. These guys are like, "Man, let's, we're all for it." I told him, I'll tell you a quick thing. I know I'm waffling on, but
No, great.
I said to him, on this last one, hey, before the song, it said guitar solo. Like, I can't remember what the intro, I think it was Grinder, to be honest. And I said, do like some little guitar solo. You go off, have some fun. And then you can, go. They did like an instrumental. I mean, it was the guitar players playing back and forth, doing harmonies. They had an instrumental they did before it. It was the craziest, craziest thing. I was like, man, you guys are you got it down, And when I mentioned this to Joel about doing these shows, and then I said, let's get Doug Dalton and Hardline on involved, because my first time doing a solo show in Australia was when Hardline first started.
Wow.
And Doug's band, Doug was the guitar player in my band, and his band was the backing band.
Yep.
But anyways, I was hoping we could have the same, I was hoping that Voya and Andrew was going to do it as well, because it was such a good experience. So I think everybody's pretty excited.
Yeah, and if anyone's never seen them, it's pretty easy to find Frankie's house band footage on YouTube. They don't mess around.
They don't, and they still do it at places. I mean, I think Frankie's is a parking lot. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, it closed because it was bought. It had to close. Didn't close because Frankie's did great. Closed because I think it was a parking deck or something they were building there.
Or underground train station, maybe.
Something, yeah. And it was, but yeah, they're great. And, it's nice when you can show up and, we'll probably get a little rehearsal in, but we probably don't have to, I mean, they're so good. I know we didn't have to, because these guys were unbelievable. I mean, we are doing, like I said, we're doing Scream Machine from Beyond Fear this time. We're doing, which is a tough one, well, at least for me. We're doing Hellfire Thunderbolt, Beyond the Realms of Death, One More Shot at Glory. So we've got some good tracks in there this time. When the Eagle Cries from Iced Earth, so we got some good ones.
It's an amazing mix that you'll be able to pick from. Have you got any sort of like wish list covers you'll throw in, or just have any on backup?
You know what? Obviously, we'll throw in some classic Priest. People always say, why do I do it? Well, it's because people want it. People want to hear. Listen, I don't know if we're doing Breaking the Law or not. I can't remember. I hope not, but we probably are, because it's one song that I would rather never do again. But when you do it and the people are out in the crowd, they love it, because you know why? The diehards who want to hear Scream Machine or my solo stuff, they don't want to hear Breaking the Law. But people who go, I always say this, even on stage with KK's Priest, I say, hey, this song's for the people that the wives or girlfriends that don't want to be here, or the friend or someone that's just came to the show and doesn't know Hellfire Thunderbolt, or this is everybody knows Breaking the Law, and the crowd just goes crazy. But we'll do I think we'll probably do a Dio and a Black Sabbath song. Heaven and Hell. I love to do Heaven and Hell all the time. It's my tribute to Ronnie. We'll do a couple classics. We'll do some off of My Era Priest. I think the only odd ones would probably be probably a couple Black Sabbath songs. I think we'll probably throw in the set.
Cool. You can just introduce it as here's a song for all the designated drivers.
Yeah. Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, speaking in that sort of realm, how come we haven't seen like a Tim Ripper Owens wine or vodka or bourbon or, the standard rock star fare?
Well, I have my coffee out there.
That's smart.
I know. Isn't that funny? I'm not a big drinker, but I wish I had a Traveler, and then I could have my Ripper Owens Traveler. And I would have to have a low carb beer for me if I released it. So, but I've had people talk to me about it before. And I used to always say a couple years ago when this beer company talked to me about it, I said, listen, I don't want some IPA bitter. I don't care if it's strong, but I want some bitter, I want it to be a smooth lager Pilsner. I said, but here's what you should do. You should make it a low carb beer because that's what I drink. Still has alcohol, still has 4 points. It's the same alcohol usually, but I want it to be red. Make it red for Ripper, like blood.
Awesome.
Right? I mean, and then, but no one's taken me up. But yeah, I don't really drink. Now, if a vodka did come out or tequila or something, I would have to say I drink it, but I really don't. A bourbon would be nice. My brother loves good bourbon, so I would love a good bourbon to come out. I'm not a big drinker. I mean, I probably drink more when I come see my girlfriend there. She lives in Katoomba in the Blue Mountains, and we'll go to the pub. I love it up there. I love it there. We'll go watch a little plug and play bands or whatever. They're playing ukuleles and shit like that. And have a schooner, maybe 2 schooners, and then I'm done,
Yeah.
Never was a big drinker. My favorite time probably is to walk off the stage and have a beer. Now, on this tour, I'll probably have one on stage.
Yeah.
So I should try to get a hold of Traveler and my girlfriend's always bringing that up. Julie's always talking about the Traveler and the funny commercials he does and stuff. But I should try to get a hold of him and say, hey, come on, endorse me. Give me some beer.
There's the way. And look, in the meantime, coffee. Come on. Coffee's fantastic.
I drink a lot of it, and you'll like this because I'm drinking it today out of my cunt mug.
Love it.
So I just finished it. So I have my my cunt mug. I drink a lot of coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker.
The audio's charged.
Yes. Love it.
Now, on your site, you have where you want people to email you if they would like a guest vocalist. Now, that's all well and good for someone to email you, but you've probably got some sort of stipulations. Like you're not going to have someone come through that's a total hack and want to get you to put your name on it just for the sake of them. So
I've done some pretty shitty songs. I've done some but listen, I'll tell you why. I'm not going to do it for free. And I don't overcharge people either. I always work. The great thing about me is they say, what's my fee? I'm like, what's the most you can pay? And, kind of like, let's work something out because I know everybody's different. But I like to sing. It's what I do for a living. And I'm working on one right here. I just actually rebooted my computer. But, a couple days ago, I worked on one that was like death metal hardcore. It was just, and then the next song I'm working on is like Yngwie kind of stuff, the singing and, but yeah, I mean, rippervocals@gmail.com. I think that's what it is. They get a hold of me. I've done quite a bit, 4 or 5 different songs for Australian bands and musicians. So, but if you hear, I like to do it. This is when I just started. You can hear it in the background. Listen. It's different. No.
Yeah.
It's fun to do. If it's really bad, it'd have to be really bad, really, really bad for me not to work on it. Just because I love to try to make it better. I know that the funny thing is they do send some that's just got scratch vocals, which I love, but some of it's just somebody talking or just throwing it down. And that's I love to do that and do it. But you just try to make it better. So but I've done some pretty crappy ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Yngwie. I did some photography work with him while he was here earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And I was very pleasantly surprised when everyone's like, Yngwie this, Yngwie that. And he was absolutely lovely to me. What do you think the biggest misconception about Yngwie is for you?
Well, I mean, he does treat people really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, as a whole, but that doesn't mean he's going to never treated me bad. I got along with him very well. I got along with him very great. He would joke and we, he one of the easiest guys I ever worked with in the studio. I think he has his moments, he doesn't like, please don't ever put a white light on during a show, or he'll stop it and yell at the light man, or attack the keyboard player during the night if he did something wrong. And maybe but I'll tell you, my experience with him and I, that was the only time I saw him go at somebody, and that's a lot of people can do it, but the light man or the keyboard player or something. But yeah, I mean, I got along great, so I don't think there is any misconceptions about him. I think what people think about him is probably the truth, but that doesn't mean he's like that to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you had a great experience with him. I had a great experience with him. He was sober when I was in the band, and I remember my brother, nobody, sometimes we weren't allowed, the band wasn't allowed to even be in the dressing room. We'd have to be sitting in a closet. But anyways,
Right.
we would go. I remember we were playing Cleveland, and my brother comes, and my brother doesn't even drink except I'll tell you about the bourbon. He measures out the bourbon, has this much in a cup, and sips it because he's Mr. Health guy,
Right. Yep.
sips it at the end of the day. My brother walks back and has a beer, and I'm thinking, oh no, there's a beer backstage. And Yngwie walks in and goes, "Is this your brother?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, and then he starts telling him a joke, because I said my brother tells jokes all the time. So Yngwie's like, I can't say the joke because I would be canceled. But anyways, I said, he told the joke, and it was just, what a way to him to say my brother tells these kind of jokes, and Yngwie walks in, "That's your brother," and he starts telling the joke. So yeah, I got along really. I mean, obviously he's kind of thrown all of his singers under the bus since I left the band, which was odd. I quit the band, and I didn't even announce that I quit the band. I didn't even announce it. I just quit and then stepped away because I was getting busy doing solo shows, and I felt like he needed to find another singer. But I don't talk bad about him. My experience was good, just like you. My experience was good as well. He could be a very, very pleasant guy and funny. I was just telling a story the other day about yesterday, doing interviews about singing in a studio, and I'd be like, let me do it again. Because like the KK's Priest vocals, I did all those sitting in this chair right here at this thing.
Right.
And they sound pretty amazing. But I said, I would do a line, I'd do a take, and I go, what do you think? And I'd say, I think I could do it again. Let me do it better. He goes, no, that's good. That's good. We don't want to do it too many times. I think you got it. That was good enough. I'm thinking. And then sometimes I'd get done and say, how was it? And I'd look out there and I'm like, hey, he went to take a shit. He just kind of got up and left. He was so easy in the studio. And it's funny, the guy yesterday in me said, yeah, Yngwie, isn't that funny, from the guy that says more is more?
Yeah.
But it wasn't with me. He's just like, yeah, you got it. You nailed it. Let's just move on. And he
was great. Like I think his guy was more, because one of his band members was his tour manager. He's like, you can't talk to Yngwie, you can't shake his hand. And I'm like, I'm Australian, not going to happen. Walk up to his table. I'm like, Yngwie, how you going, bud? Fist bump. And he's like, cool. and his dude was like shitting himself, and Yngwie was fine.
Yeah, well, there's times you might not want to talk to people. I'm not the most talkative beforehand, but I would never in my life ever have somebody tell somebody you can't talk to him.
Yeah, it was great. I was
Um,
just like, oh, well, I'm going to
but
do it anyway.
and I think it's because there's times where Ingve's going to be in a zone or might not want to talk to somebody. So I guess they just pencil it all like that. The guys are just going to say, don't ever do it. But
Yeah,
uh, listen, he's not a Ronnie James Dio with the fans. I mean, uh,
yeah,
he's not going to come out of the bus to sign something.
yeah,
You know, he might not even sign it if they send it onto the bus. But that's all right. I mean. I just got used to Priest would was pretty good with the fans by the bus, and Ronnie James Dio would talk to everybody for an hour or so. But Ingve's it was a fun time. I had a good time doing
yeah.
it.
Now, I saw that you played the Milwaukee Metal Fest, which is like a Jamey Jasta's festival, and it's actually really growing to be huge. So
Yeah.
if Ripper got an unlimited budget and it was like throw your own festival together, give me your six big ones that you would have on your headliner and co-headliner for day 1, 2, and 3.
Oh my goodness, I don't even know. I mean, I'm gonna fill it with everybody that I would want to see, I guess. But I would have Black Sabbath doing it with me on vocals
Yep.
because they don't have a singer, so they need that.
Yeah.
I'd probably have Priest and Maiden and Anthrax, and now that Sabotage is torn, I'd put Sabotage on there, and it's really hard. I mean, I don't know anybody new, so KK's Priest would be headlining one of the nights, so I would
Yep.
put that. We'd be going right after Judas Priest one night.
That'd be amazing.
It's so funny to even say that. Right now, I'm going to be getting a call by their management. You can't say that.
Well, let's go one better and make it a revolving stage. So as they finish, the stage just spins and
Yeah.
KK's Priest comes out like no break just to
Yep.
fuck with people's heads.
That would be pretty great. We'd have to look at our set list, make sure we weren't repeating songs, and then we'd go into Sinner, and we'd have Rob come up and sing it with me, and we would have a good time.
Awesome, man. I got to ask, what's the secret to looking after your voice on the road? Because when you're at home, it's in your own environment, but the road is so many different environments. So
Yeah,
what's the
I
key?
think I think I probably have a better voice on the road than I do at home.
Mhm.
Um, because I don't talk as much, I'll kind of hide out and I get into a more of a routine. The exact like, listen, I have the routine now. I've been out of it a little bit. Usually I'd get up really early, go to the gym. I've been kind of laying in a little bit, having two more cups of coffee before I go. But I go to the gym every morning and you know chill out, do some stuff, and then I've been recording lately, which helps keep it alive a little bit. I should rest it more, but on the road, I drink even more water and which I drink a ton of water, which sucks because I have to pee all night long. So I drink about 3 or 4 of these a day.
Yep.
But yeah, I think sometimes on the road it could be better. I think it's because mentally that's what I think about.
Awesome. Now, before I let you go, I'd love for you to shoot straight down the barrel at all your Aussie fans and let them know what's coming at them in a few months.
Yeah, well, just to know, Melbourne on the 14th February, Valentine's Day. So bring your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, and then come celebrate with a nice song like "Burn in Hell." I mean, what's better for Valentine's Day? 20th Sydney, 22nd Brisbane, 23rd Adelaide, 24th Perth, and now I heard we just added 2 shows in New Zealand. And maybe we'll add some more in Australia, who knows? But it's a great set. It's a great fun set. It's got some fast ones with Scream Machine and Hellfire, and it's got some great ones. So it's a really good set list, a really great band and fun. I have a little more I have some fun. I'll walk up there and I'll probably offend a few people and tell some jokes. But for certain, since I'm in Australia, everybody will be called a cunt 2 or 3 times because it's kind of what I do. I let
Excellent.
it out.
It's a
I
term
let
of
it out.
endearment.
I learned to yell at the crowd, "Oi, cunt, chuck us a tinny," so they can make sure they got my beer on stage and we're all good.
Amazing, man.
All right,
Awesome,
buddy.
Tim.
Perfect.
Enjoy your day. Drink more coffee, call people cunts, do whatever you need to do, and I'll see you in a couple of months.
You got it. All
Thanks,
right,
man.
man.
See
We'll
ya.
see Andrew. All
Bye.
right, buddy. Bye.